Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Today we're starting a reading vlog. I'm going to be reading some of my most anticipated books of the year for 2022. I'm also going to be giving you life updates. I'm going to be packing up this thing. I've already packed up like all my books over here and over here. There's boxes. Because if you don't know, if you haven't been paying attention, which I don't even know if I've said it that many times. Anyways, we're moving. We bought a new house. We got a house built. We bought it. We're closing on it on Tuesday. I'm starting this on Saturday. And we gotta pack. We have to pack. And Chris is my husband, we are terrible about waiting till the last minute to do anything, honestly. So yeah, we are doing that. So you're going to see me reading some books that I have on my most anticipated book list. If you have not watched that video, I'll leave it linked above in the cards. I'll also put a picture right here for you, so you can see what the thumbnail looks like, you know. But yeah, so that's what we're doing today. I'm going to be listening to The Night Guest by Heather... What's her last name? Her last name is a little difficult. Gudenhoff. This is what it looks like. I mean, I just bought the audio book because I'm gonna use this to help me find motivation to pack. I also started reading The Road of Bones by, what's his name, Christopher Golden. I'm already 60% into that book. It is really weird. It's weird. It is a horror, paranormal, thriller, that kind of thing, about winter in Siberia, and these two people are documentary people. They make documentaries and they go to Siberia during the winter time. And I didn't know this, but evidently Siberia is super cold during the winter. And there's a really good atmosphere. You can tell that it's really cold. Like you can see the imagery. It kind of like makes you not want to go to Siberia during the winter time. But there's this, like, I don't really know if it's a curse or if it's just like a ghost town or if there's religion in it, like a specific type of religion, or I really don't know. I am completely confused and I'm still 60% into this book. Is it intriguing? Yeah, it's very intriguing, but I have no idea. Like, it's very gory. There's a lot of wolf imagery and goriness in here. So I don't know. I had to kind of switch gears a little bit because I felt myself kind of venturing off into other things, you know, not really like paying attention all that much. So I switched gears and started reading The Paradox Hotel by Rob Hart. And I got about 10% in before I fell asleep last night, but it is weird too. And I should have known that going into this book because it's a science fiction based book. But it's about a hotel where people go and they get to travel in time. So it's a time travel novel. And something happens to the time travel hotel and weird things start going on. And our main character, she's not very reliable because she sees things that other people don't see, because she's been at the hotel for way too long. And if you stay at the hotel for way too long, you go on these like different stages, and now she's almost at the very highest stage, which is stage 3. And if you reach stage 3, you lose your mind. So she's almost there. It's pretty interesting so far, but like I said, I started it at like 10 o'clock last night and fell asleep not watching it, whatever. I fell asleep reading it. So I'm going to continue with that tonight. Hopefully I'll finish The Road of Bones at some point today, maybe tonight, and continue on with Paradox Hotel. And then I also have another book, and it is The Resting Place by Camilla Steen. And I didn't realize that this was a translated work, so that's cool. I read The Lost Village by Camilla Steen last year, and it was really, really good. It was very entertaining. So I really wanted to pick this one up, and this is about... The Resting Place is about a haunted house. Got all kinds of horror, got all kinds of thriller, got all kinds of ghost stuff going on. Super excited. Got some science fiction thrown in there too. So we're good. We're good to go. But yeah, I'm gonna start a montage so you can watch me pack. So today is Monday. I did not check in with you yesterday because I was more of, and I'm driving. I'm in the Starbucks line, so I'm not really driving. But I was more in the mood just to read and sit on my couch and, you know, hang out with Charles and not do a lot. But I did finish Road of Bones by Christopher Golden, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. I thought that it was really good. I'm turning this way. I thought that it was really good. It was crazy. It was like super crazy, but it was a crazy in a good way because it was really scary because they're out in the wilderness in Siberia in the middle of winter and it's very cold. And I didn't realize that Siberia was like the coldest place on the earth. I looked it up, and it was just really scary because if you get stuck out there, like if your car breaks down and you get out and your car stops working and stuff like that, you freeze to death like instantly. They were talking about like when they were crying or something like that, and the tears just automatically freezing on their face, and like at one point they were talking about snot coming out of their nose and freezing on their face and stuff like that, which was really gross because bodily fluids are like nasty. This whole story is about these 2 guys named Teague and Prentice, and Teague is a person who makes documentaries about like nature and everything, and he also is very interested in the paranormal. So this Road of Bones is a very well known like haunted road in Siberia where war prisoners died, and they just like threw them in a mass grave and then paved a road over them. So it's said that you can see the spirits of those ghosts because they didn't get the proper burial that they deserved. So you see that in the actual story, like the progression of that. You also get the imagery of it being super freaking cold. Like it is, like it's one of those books that's really weird because you can actually see how cold it is, and it kind of gives you the shivers a little bit, especially if you are one of those people that can really visualize things. I know that some people have a hard time with that, but I'm one of those people that I can really visualize the setting, and I really like it when the author uses scripted language to actually give me that setting, because it helps me like figure out how the characters feel, and it lets me get in their brains a little bit more. And this author, Christopher Golden, did a fabulous job with that because it was terrifying. Like, not only are they looking for ghosts, and then as the story progresses, as the story progresses, they run into these woodland creatures that are deformed and that are just like weird and that are trying to kill them. And they run on also to the shaman. And I know in the previous clip I said something about religion, but I didn't realize that it's called the Yucatans, I believe. They're a semi-nomadic indigenous group, and they believe in shamans, and they believe in the progression of nature. Hold on, I'm about to order my Starbucks. May I have a venti caramel macchiato made with soy milk, please?
Same with sweet cream?
Soy milk.
Soy milk. What
Yes.
else for you?
That's it.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Alright. Oh, Lord. As I was saying, before I dropped my phone. But anyways, they believe in shamans, and they believe that nature, like humans and nature, should coexist, but in specific ways. And Teague and Prentice, they like figure that out real quick. And then they also get this tour guide so he can take them around and show them like the town and tell them the stories of the town and everything like that. And when they get to his actual family's house, everyone in the village is gone except this one little girl.
and then the story just goes from there, and they are chased through this whole story. There's wolves involved, there's a shaman involved, like I said, there's deformed animals that are involved, and they all have one thing that they want, and it's the little girl. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. But I ended up giving this 4 stars because I kind of got bored in the middle of it. But the beginning was super fast, ending was super fast, and it was written really, like, I came out of it with, like, this was a beautiful story. Like, it's horrifyingly beautiful, if that makes sense. It's not your typical horror book. It has a lot of environmental horror, but it also has a lot of body horror, and then it has just some psychological horror to it. So it's got a lot of stuff in this book, and if you are interested in that, I would highly pick it up. If you don't mind a lot of bro talk and stuff like that, then I don't think that you, like, it has a lot of bro talk, because I mean the main characters are 2 men. So, but it was just a different type of horror that I've ever read before. It kind of, if you liked Misery by Stephen King, I think that you would like this book. Like, it's kind of, it's not the same story, but I would say if you liked Misery, then I think that you would really like this book too. It was just, and I also have heard people talking about, like, The Winter People by Jennifer something. I'll put it on screen. But it just had, like, a different take on horror that I haven't read in a really long time. But it also weaved in a lot of different things too, and I really liked it. There's a trash can. I really liked it. I really, really liked it. I am going to check out some more of his books, because this is the first Christopher Golden book that I've ever read. But his backlist is huge. I didn't realize, like, he was like Buffy the Vampire. Like, he has some writing on that. I don't know if he was on the show, but I was just looking at his backlist, and he was like co-author on that and stuff like that. So yeah. And then I am continuing on with the Paradox Hotel. This book has taken me a little bit longer to get through because it's just freaking weird. Like, it is weird. I knew it was going to be weird, but it is like another level weird that I've never read before. And it's about, like, time travel. And our main character, January, is considered an unstuck, which is somebody who's been in the Paradox Hotel for too long and has done too many, like, time travels. And now she sees things that aren't there, and she can, like, see the future, and she can see things that have happened in the past that have impacted her in a way. And I do like her as a main character, though, because she's very brash, and she's just like, she tells you how it is, and she don't care if she shares your feelings at all. But it's just one of those books that is taking me a little bit to get through. Not that I don't enjoy it, but it's a little much for my little brain, okay? It's a little much. But I will say that it is a very intriguing story. It's very cool. And something just happened about, like, the 55% mark. And I was kind of like, okay, so we're doing that, huh? But yeah, so that's my update. I'm also going to be, when I get home, I'm going to be packing. So you'll probably see, like, a montage of that. And I am going to be reading The Overnight Guest by Heather Gudenhoff. I believe that's how you say her last name. So that is my update. I'm going to get my coffee. I'm going to go home. I'm going to start packing. I'm going to start packing. And I'm listening to The Overnight Guest.
2. Present day. Because of how quickly the storm was approaching, Wiley Lark angled into the last open parking spot on the street where Schaefer spoke.
Hey, so I'm here to update you on this video that I haven't been back to in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. The last day that you saw me was February 22nd, and today is March the, what day is it? March the 16th. So yeah, it's been a while. I have a flake in my hair. I have a couple flakes in my hair. Gross. But yes, I'm here to update you on this video. I ended up reading all the books that I was telling you about, and I'm gonna go ahead and just talk about them. First book that I ended up finishing was The Overnight Guest by Heather Gudenhoff, and this book was intense. It was really intense. I listened to the audio, which I highly recommend going to do because it made it super gripping, and it was just like, whoa, what's going on? And the actual narrator, can't remember her name, but I've listened to her before, and she's a really, really good narrator. She's really good at doing voices, because we do follow multiple perspectives in this book. So this book is essentially about a woman named Wiley, who is a writer. She's a true crime writer, and she has this one specific story that she's been trying to write for a really long time, but she hasn't had enough time to do it. Plus, she has to find evidence to do it as well. So she goes to this vacant house out in the middle of nowhere, and it's really stormy. It's snowstorm. It's cold. It's dark. It's just kind of icky, you know. And it's a little. It's a little intimidating as well, because she knows the house, she knows of it, but this is a house where a really bad crime happened. I believe it was a double murder, and supposedly the young guy of the house was the murderer, killed both of his parents, and then ended up disappearing, and then a girl that was there ended up disappearing as well. And the crime was never solved. So that is the crime that she is writing about, but she has to go back and she has to find evidence for it. And then she runs across, she's outside getting wood, and she runs across this little boy that is in the snow. And she believes that he's dead, but then she realizes that he's not dead, so she takes him back to her house, and he's not talking, he's very hungry, he's small, and stuff starts happening. It gets super intense. This book is super fast paced. It's one of those books that's going to keep you gripped from the beginning to the end. There's so many twists and turns. I wasn't expecting half the stuff that happened in it, which I really, really love about thrillers. And it's a psychological thriller, plus it has a lot of murder in it and stuff like that, so it's right up my alley. But it was just something that I really enjoyed, and I haven't read in a long time. I've read stories like this before, but this has its own little twist to it, and I really enjoyed it, so I highly recommend that book. It was very, very good. Yeah. Back at you from a different angle. There's my window. So the next book that I ended up reading was The Paradox Hotel by Rob Hart, and I gave this book 4 stars. I ended up reading it because I got it off of NetGalley, and ended up reading it on my Kindle. But this book took me a little bit to read because it's a science fiction thriller horror thing, and January is considered, I said this in my previous clips, but she's considered unstuck. Well, she is unstuck. Unstuck means that if you've been in the hotel for too long, if you've taken too many time travels back in the past, your brain can lose substance, and you can start to lose your brain, lose your mind basically. And January, who is the head of security at this hotel, the Paradox Hotel, has become unstuck. So with that, it kind of jumps in time. She's in the present, but she's having an experience about something that's happened previously to her. She can also see the future at some point, so it was really hard to follow at times. And that was one of the things that I had, I understood why it had to happen, but I didn't particularly like it all that well because it was very hard to follow. And I think that if I would have read the book physically, like a physical book copy and not a Kindle copy that was not published, it wasn't an ARC, you know what I mean? I think that I would have enjoyed it more because I feel like in the actual copy itself, again, I'm sorry if you can hear the nail guns because they're building a house right next to my house. But I feel like if I would have read the actual, like, the copy, the published copy, it would have done a better job at kind of splitting those sections up a little bit. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe not, maybe it was just intentional and it's not something that my brain can handle. Anyways, this book is about a girl, or a woman, she's a woman named January, and she's the head of security at the Paradox Hotel, and this hotel has the ability to let people go back in time. So they come, they check into this hotel, and then they take little trips back in time. But the thing is, they can't disturb anything from back in time. Like, they can, like, there was a flight to Egypt, and then there was something that took you back to the what was it, like the world wars and stuff like that. So if you take these little journeys to these places, you can't actually mess with the time because it's going to disturb the present. And that's one of the twists in this, is because it's not a spoiler, it's actually in the description, but somebody that is at the hotel has taken it upon themselves to disturb time. And that has caused something to happen with, like, people becoming unstuck and people seeing things from the future, seeing things from the past. Like, they'll just be walking and all of a sudden something will pop up and it'll be like a scene out of a war or something like that, and they're like, what the crap is going on? But that's the whole point of this, and it's really entertaining. It's fast-paced at sometimes, and sometimes it's slow. But January is going through a lot. She has a lot of grief. She lost somebody that was super important to her, and that's a big part of the story, about her finding herself and about her just going through life without that special person that made her a better person. Because January is very brash and she's very in your face. She doesn't care if she hurts your feelings. She's just balls to the wall, you know? She's that type of person. But I really thought that this story was unique. I don't read a lot of fiction, or yes, I do. I don't read a lot of fantasy based, and I mean, science fiction is fantasy, but I kind of steer clear of, like, the time travel and all that kind of stuff because, I don't know, it doesn't really tickle my fancy, if you know what I mean. But I really enjoyed the story. I thought it was very unique, and I think that I will pick up something again from Rob Hart because I liked the writing style, and the story itself was just, it was kind of fascinating, you know. But that is my review of Paradox Hotel, and I highly recommend it to people who enjoy time travel, science fiction, thrillers, those type of things. So, plot twist. I'm gonna film on my, ooh, that's good lighting. Heck yeah. That's good lighting. Okay. So, plot twist, right? Thought we were doing really, really good when we were moving, and we didn't lose anything. Plot twist, we lost my camera. Can't find it. So I'm having to film on my phone right now. And we don't even have internet at the moment. We're having to do hotspots. So my plan is to film a lot of video footage, put it together, try to go over to my parents' house and upload YouTube videos. That's why I haven't really been uploading videos, because I don't have, there's something here. I don't have the ability to. Ooh, this is a good filming spot. I think I found a new filming spot, y'all. But I don't have the ability to upload. So if you're seeing this, I hope that it's before, you know, the end of the school year. We're on spring break right now. That's why you see me. But, you can't see me now because I just, okay. Focus. So, the last book that I ended up reading was The Resting Place by Camilla Steen, and this is a translated work. And I was an idiot, and I read The Lost Village last year, and it's also a translated work because
whatever. And I said that I didn't realize this was a translated work, but then I looked back and I was like, they're both translated, so what ifs. So the resting place is about a girl named Eleanor who comes from a really long line of women of secrets. Eleanor has a lot of secrets herself. She was raised by her grandmother, who was not a very good person, like at all. And the story is about her, like the story starts with her grandmother dying, and Eleanor, her fiance, a lawyer, and her aunt are going back and going through the estate's like assets and that, like, I don't really know, like it's a house that Eleanor didn't even realize was in her family, and her grandmother left it to her in her will, so they have to go and they have to like assess the property and everything and all the things that are in the house. But when they get to the actual house itself, there's so many secrets that are in this family, and Eleanor wants to get down to the bottom of it. There's also things going on in the actual story itself, like jumping to past time, you know? So you get to see it from both angles. But Eleanor has a lot of mental illness, as all of the women in that family. There's a lot of mental illness in that. So Eleanor had a nervous breakdown because she saw her grandmother be getting murdered, and she had a little nervous breakdown about that, obviously, because that's a traumatizing experience. But people are just telling her to kind of get over it. Her fiance is even telling her to get over it. His name is Sebastian, because they don't really understand, like, some people just don't have the capacity to understand that stuff and why people have trouble and they can't just get over it. But beside the point, when they get to the actual house, the aunt that is there actually grew up, like part of her life was at the house. It was kind of like a summer house thing, and she doesn't really want to be there, but she has to be there because she's on the will as well. And she doesn't really even know all the secrets of her family, but they find out the secrets of the family as the story progresses. And y'all, there's a lot of names in here that start with the letter V, so it was very hard to keep up with that. That's why I gave it 4 stars, because it was very slow at times, which I think was intentional. But I also had a really hard time keeping up with all the V names. I had to write them down and still couldn't understand it. So it was hard, because Eleanor's first name is Victoria, and then there's a Vanelda in there, and then there's a Veronica, and there's a lot of V's. And it was just hard to keep up with. But the story itself is actually very good. I liked all the twists and turns. The plot twist that happened didn't happen too quick. The mystery, it was all through the novel. You got a good wrap up at the end. And I highly recommend it to people who like mystery thrillers. It's not really psychological, I wouldn't say that. It's not, it's more of a domestic thriller. If you don't like domestic thrillers, I don't know if you would like this. But if you like a thriller that has a little bit of domestic, maybe some Honda stuff going on, I think you'd like this. If they hit my house, that's my view right now. You see, they didn't even put that. Okay. What are they doing? Y'all, living in a cul-de-sac has been a completely different experience because I see everything. But yeah, so that's the neighborhood right now. There's a lot of houses still being built, and we were one of the first to actually come. I actually like live in the house. At one point, we were the only people living in the neighborhood, which I realized after the fact, and I was kind of creeped out about it. Lila's already seen a coyote, which was kind of scary because we don't have a fence yet. But that's a life update. That's the update of my video too. This is basically the end of it. But yeah, 4 stars for the resting place. This room is a mess. It will not be a mess after today because my bookshelves come in. So I get to, ooh, you're dancing with me. So I get to put all my books and stuff up and actually put this together. And I'll probably end up vlogging that experience as well, so you might see me in the same outfit. But that's the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have not already, please hit that subscribe button down below. Like, comment on this video. I apologize that it's taken so long to get this video together. But if you've never moved before, it sucks. So I'll see you in the next one. I hope you have a great day. Bye.